But I think the great outcome of the in-service with Lisa and Therese has been that, in fact, the focus of their in-service has been about pedagogy. And what our heads of department have walked away with is that learning intent is such an important part of any planning, of any delivery, of any implementation in classroom practice. And that these technology tools we have with our young people are just tools. What's been marvellous though is that the Symphony of Learning is an opportunity to see how we can encompass a range of different technologies and pedagogical practices and align them around, I guess, improving student learning outcomes.
Was to create symphonies of learning by having a very serious learning intent for everything that I did. So I was very focused on what I want to achieve, and then I try and find the accompanying digital tool to achieve that specific goal. So I didn't do anything for the sake of just playing with the tool. Everything was very explicitly thought out and matched.
I think the Symphony program has allowed us to really focus on school's core business, which is improving student learning. It's actually given us a process to interrogate data, to reflect on our practice, and to improve our classroom delivery.
With Lisa and Therese, working on their symphonies, the transformation was remarkable. I have HODs who are completely enthusiastic and energetic about achieving their pedagogical licence. But what's even more spectacular is their willingness to bring others along on the journey. We now have across the school 30 different teachers working towards their pedagogical licence with an enthusiasm and energy that I didn't think was possible probably only a few short months ago.
Those action verbs, the thinking skills, and then at the end of the lesson we'll come back and we'll reflect, say, okay, did we do that? Did we analyse? What does analyse mean? Yes, we did. This is how we did it. This is the tool we used. We can see it, and that reflection process is key as well. So.
One of the other opportunities that we discussed, which I think is a very, very interesting opportunity, was to look not only at how our teachers are developing their knowledge of what's available for them in terms of online resources and using the laptops, if you like, that's a digital tool. It was also about students, and we had a long talk during the in-service with our middle management team about how we might in fact build up a portfolio for students. We were thinking that as the students work through our school, year 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, as they become more skilled in using some of these resources, we'd love to see those feature in fact in students' own presentations. That those collaborative tools that the young people have learnt to develop would in fact, I guess, lead towards that wonderful learner attribute of becoming an online collaborator. So that's an interesting area that we'd like to explore here. I'm sure that'll be popular in other schools in Queensland.
I guess I really focused on looking at what students need to improve on, so what were their weaknesses. So by looking at student data, looking at their assignments, looking at what criteria they weren't performing very well on, using that as my inspiration, and then being able to look at what they did poorly and find a pathway so that they can improve those skills.
Classroom, and so some of the students will come to my class and I'll teach them how to use something like Answer Garden. Then they'll go to another class and say, well, why don't we use Answer Garden for this, because that'll work really well. So they're getting to understand how the tools match a certain activity and the ways in which they can share things.
Pedagogical licence is about the pedagogy. Now that may sound pretty obvious, but obviously it wasn't. Teachers are thinking more about the teaching and learning and then how to use the ICT tools to make the best use of those ICT tools to facilitate that learning, then getting bogged down in the ICTs. That fundamental shift, that little change in the paradigm is what has made the difference.
But it's not about the toys, it's about the true learning for the student.